as I talk about it. It's a fun game, Pirates of Our Land. And I have a guest with me here as well who is going to talk about it. Let me just queue up my my post here. Pirates of Our Land. All right, let me go ahead and bring him on. I have with me here Greg. Hello, Greg. How are you?
Hello, guys. I'm just fine. Strong and early, just like my coffee.
That's awesome. Where are you joining from?
I'm joining you from Warsaw, from Poland, so in the capital city.
Oh, beautiful. I'll tell you what, so I was headed out there, I think last year or year before, and I got stuck kind of in, I didn't get stuck really, but I stopped in Lisbon and I got stuck, quote unquote, with different conferences. And then everybody had just a blast in Warsaw. And I was so upset that I missed it. A beautiful place. I saw some of the pictures. It was one of the places I haven't been yet, but a wonderful, wonderful city.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you liked it. I haven't been to the States, but I had ventured, far and out, skipped about 14 different countries around the globe. So yeah, I also have some very fond memories outside of Poland itself.
Awesome. So really fun game that you guys have here. Recently, the token has recently launched in the last month or so, right? The game itself, you guys have been working at it for quite a while. Tell us more about Pirates of Our Land. Hide the rum.
Right. Well, I'm very happy to engage in providing you the information here. So I myself am partnerships manager with Pirates, and it's been so for over 3 to 4 months. I'm closely acquainted with the game designer for the game. We know each other for about 15 years. We're a small studio hailing from Poland. We have indie game developers. We have 2 young guys who had finished the university degrees and are fully employed, fully fledged developers for metaverses and in other companies, and they are doing it for their own success, for their own ambition. We also have Chief Technical Officer Dominic, who is coding the smart contract. So he's introducing the smart contract game logic into the game, and it's something new that we are doing because we are making a strategy. So what is happening is when you have a smart contract encoded, and when you are burning the assets, for example, on Matic, on which we are based on Polygon, then the contract is basically being encoded. So it has certain properties, certain values to basically recode itself. So wow. This is what we are doing. And one of the 2 games in this ecosystem that we are making is the economy strategy money management game, which is already running on browser. We have the on-chain resources farming, which was just introduced early last month. And it took us over 2 years and 10 months to achieve this state of the game. We also have the second part of the gaming ecosystem, which is the multiplayer online battle arena. And this is for the younger audiences. It utilizes some inherent properties in the game currency game loop, so to call it, so that when you have, for example, the potential to invest and you don't have as much time, you may go into the strategy theme in order to play on iOS or Android in the future, currently on browser based. And if you have more time to achieve, to compete against others, to be visible, to be in the ladder, to use the launcher, and you would go with this full-fledged first-person shooter, which we have. We have 3 islands, and there are pirates battling it out. We have 2 weapons right now. We have the blunderbuss, we have the pistol, we have the traps, we have the interactable environment. This is on Unity 2021, but it's just on this engine because we have limited resources for the devs. As I mentioned, we're a small team, so we have basically 3 main devs. We have about 2 side devs. We have the game designer. There's me as partnership manager. There's the community managers and the tournament managers, and that's the whole company, right?
Nice. So it's these types of things, they're so fun, right? And so you have the whole token economy as well. And Pirates of the Caribbean is just, I mean, this is like it's one of my favorite movies of all time, or series, I guess, right? It's a series. In my younger days, I love it. The kids love it. It's a lot of fun. So the token economy started. That always is tricky, right? And you guys have been working at this for so long. I mean, it takes years to put these types of things together. How, and it's on Polygon, so it's cheap to trade, it's easy to hold, it's all these types of things. How has that helped? Has it helped with the adding of users? Has it helped with the bringing on user bases to play the game? Tell me more about that.
Right. Well, the concept for Pirates, it originated, as I stated, around 3 years ago. And it was with Dominic, who is a full-fledged developer. He has over 25 years of experience. And he met up with this guy that they studied together in university. And they went kind of different ways, because Dominic went contractual and Marcin, he went towards game development. They said, look, well, while we're here, why don't we set up, see and revert, like what's happening with our experiences, and maybe let's try making a game for ourselves. And they came up with a name for Anfata. This is for a NFT game, Anfata Games Studio. And their original inspiration was the Sid Meier's Pirates on Commodore 64. Now, this game, it's based on hexes. It's a strategy, and you could battle it out on ships. You had very simple graphics. This was the era even before you had any animations as we have today, that we know today, that are visible on YouTube. So any kind of mixing and any kind of content creation, back then this content creation was only on consoles. So this was the inspiration for Pirates, and ever since that time, the project has been steadily steadily running. And it has also been evolving, because there had been some key decisions, and we had to adapt and overcome basically certain aspects for the project to be running. I mean, it's been over 3 years in the space, and I'm sure that there are other projects which are there longer, right? But 3 years is a long time in crypto for a project.
Oh, it's like forever in crypto. I mean, it's like uses like old man status. But that's putting together games. I know I've worked with game developers. I had a close partner that was in this business. It takes years.
It does. It does take years, and it does take a passion. I will let you in on a personal story. I had a friend from the street on which I grew up, and we used to collect Pokemon cards. We used to collect Magic the Gathering cards. We used to play it out on those logic games, Monopoly. We also had the PCs, right? And we were running all those different kinds of games. And if we couldn't buy a game from a newspaper, then we were going out and checking whether we can get it somewhere else. This was even before the internet was running. And this guy, he actually went this way, and he went with CD Projekt, and he became a game producer. And right now he's based in Germany in an indie games dev studio. And we keep in touch from now and then, so it's kind of those life, decisions, for some people, it's just everything that there is to it. And I can tell you that myself, I'm also very engaged in gaming as it is, interacting with other players, this competitive spirit. I mean, it drives me, and I can see advantages to it, also in my professional career, now that I have grown up. But I was playing since I was a little kid, so it's a great thing.
So I'm on the website here, RRLand, ARRLAND.
Correct.
So check around these RLand NFT collectibles. How do people get involved? How do they get started and play?
Right. So What is happening is the game is based around the non-fungible tokens, and in order to
Okay.
get started, you would need a battle pass, and you would need to register an account. And how do you do that? I mean, what is account register? You know, what it
Yeah.
means to register an account on the blockchain, right? I mean,
Right.
essentially, it means getting a wallet, right?
Yes. And a lot of people aren't going to have. A lot of people aren't going to have one. So these are the NFTs that you would. So walk me. Let's go ahead and walk through it.
Right. So we have the pirates.
Yep.
So, for example, we have the Genesis pirates, and then we have the normal pirates. We have the citizens. We have the islands, and we have the ships. And this is for the strategy part. And of course, it's taking time to develop, but some portion of the game is already there. The islands are established, and on-chain resources is established with the Genesis pirates as it is right now.
All right, awesome. Does this have sound? I'm going to mute it if it does. Well, I'll just mute it anyway. So this is behind the scenes revolutionizing marine environment physics.
Correct.
Yeah. Ireland. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is from the perspective of one of our two main developers, and he is basically the creator of this engine within Unity 2021. So if you have a game design toolkit and you're going to do marine physics, then you obviously need to know something about physics and mathematics in order to establish those kind of key points, in order, for example, to improve the shaders on the water, which had also been done. And those kind of interactions, you know, they are there, they are being coded in real time on Unity 2021. So right now, this is what one of our two main game developers is working on. If you go to the list of the people involved in the project, you will be able to see his picture. And I had the chance to actually meet him myself on several occasions already. So I can tell you he's a great guy, very passionate.
That's awesome. Well, that was what I was when I was talking to you guys over the last couple of days. He's a cool team, and that's why I was like, why don't have someone come on and talk. So here's the Ireland crew. Here we have the game director. We have the architect. I mean, this is quite an extensive team as well. So talk to me about, did you guys do a raise? How did you get the funding to put something there like this? I mean, this is not cheap.
Right. I mean, we had a few. We had the tokenomics established very early in the project. Okay, and some of it went. It were private sales, and just recently we got listed on DEX about 4 months ago. So we got listed on Mexi. So this is where you could purchase our token, the RUM token. And before this happened, we actually had a chance to meet with the listing manager in Dubai on scope of the event. And there were also 3 other parties. So we are considering all of those. If we had limitless resources, then we could consider listing even on Binance with the potential of our project and the specifics of it, right? But money is always a factor, right? And the strength lies in the community, because the project has to do even without the investors putting in the money through, right? It's good if you have an entertainment company and if you're running an indie game studio, right? But essentially, you should be looking for something that is organic, that is the people willing to play your game, to try the new things, to put in the work and work alongside you, right? And this is the thing about the game being made around blockchain, is that this community feedback, it gets across pretty quickly, and you can basically see in real time the money that is being contributed and is running in between the community and the game developer. So if you do not ship out constant updates about the project, if you do not show that you are improving, if you do not show your work, then your project is going to get extinguished pretty quickly. I mean, this is the basic difference. So for the people not you're not acquainted with the subject, the easiest comparison I can make is if you had, for example, Kickstarter. It's a pretty good portal, for crowdfunding, and not only games, a lot of different projects. You could crowdfund, planting trees in Africa or somewhere else, right? And
Right.
the fact is that in blockchain, it's almost like a Kickstarter, because the moment that you have the tokenomics established, you can actually pinpoint where do you want the money to be going. Do you want the 10% to be going to the developers? Do you want 20%? Do you want 30%? Do you want 40%? Do you want 50% maybe to the board of directors, as it is at Ubisoft and those bigger entities, right? So this is the questions that we're asking. It's changing, this shift. It's
Yeah.
it's pulling really hard, and you will be able to see it. So right now, it's a good time to enter into all those different ways of games development, games funding, because the shift is there. And I think that a lot of people in this space, they can already see those kind of changes going, even with those economic thumbs that had been there recently.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool. So talk to me about the what you've accomplished so far, and then what you're going to accomplish, the roadmap. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word for it. Talk to me about the roadmap. What can we expect over the next 6 months to 1 year?
Okay. Yeah, I'm very happy to talk about it. And the establishment of roadmap is constantly revised. We are revising it 1 to 2 quarters, every 1 to 2 quarters, to see if we can make any improvements and to pivot around certain points, or to pace the project as is needed. As you know, in crypto, there are bull runs, there are bear runs, right? And we had been through both. So we had been securing funding over those 3 years.
The bear market.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. And we were able to do so. So this says something about the project. I mean, first, it's about a niche that you would like to go through with. But the second part of it is the part of innovating and actually doing something for yourself, claiming your own ambitions. And I think that this is a big part of our project here. It's the people, the community, they would like to see those qualities of blockchain be introduced into video games for certain reasons. And it's not only speculative reasons. I can tell you, as a longtime gamer, I can tell you that it's not only for the speculative reasons.
Yep. So talk to me a bit about, I know you guys have something that you just started here, right? Or it looked like a day or two ago, you're having a contest. And there's $1,000 up for grabs. Talk to me about that.
Correct. Resources farming established for this browser-based economy strategy money management game, we had to reward our community for the input that they make, for the word that they share to other people, right? And how do you do that? Do you get to each person? Do you go door to door like a seller, right? Or do you trust someone else to do the job for you and do it better? And as head of partnerships here at Ireland, I can tell you that we had based our decisions on the input of others who had been successful in the space. And when it comes to Ireland, we are using some partners. They are in partnership with us. Namely, one of them is Intract, which is a community reward program platform. And the second one is called Zeally, which is Zeally. It's also a part of a reward program platform. And the way that this works is that when you commit to an action, within the browser, when you have your account established, a wallet, and it's coupled with the browser, that's the so-called Web3, then this extension can read when you are, for example, posting about our project, or when you are participating in a space, or when you are accessing a specific smart contract, or when you are adding, for example, liquidity into the game pool. So it's recording that. And this competition browser, when you have your account established, a wallet, and it's coupled with the browser, that's the so-called Web3, then this extension can read when you are, for example, posting about our project, or when you are participating in a space, or when you are accessing a specific smart contract, or when you are adding, for example, liquidity into the game pool. So it's recording that. And this competition is run amongst the people that contribute liquidity to our project through the means that are established in the game ecosystem. So amongst the people that decide to add liquidity to the pool, we will select a random person who will be able to receive the reward. And the guidelines are established if you go to Interact link, which is visible there. And we also had this kind of, I can see you're showing the grand tournament there. We had the tournament, so cool. We had to battle it out.
$100,000 prize pool.
The $100,000 prize pool is incoming. Is the incoming grand tournament that will be there. And as an introduction to it, we were also running a competition to battle it out. But there were so many participants that we had to increase, the amount of server, allowance for the people to connect. So I can tell you a story about that. Like we had to run it quick and code in real time with the guys. The guys were surprised. Our lead devs.
Wow. Oh wow. So yeah, that's really cool, man. Well, we've gone well over my planned 10 minutes because obviously I think it's so interesting what you guys are doing here. Gaming is really just the future. So you were spending some time in Dubai. What are your guys' plans? Do you have other? Are you going to be on location in different places over the next, let's say, rest of the year?
Well, we will be looking at the gaming events that will be coming up, and this decision lies with a close friend of mine, Norbert, who will be deciding on where we decide to show up next. For now, we are aiming on securing grants, and the grants are in for the community input and the liquidity of the project, right? So everybody is looking right now at the organic participation of the members in the ecosystems. And right now is the true test, because a year ago, Certic started running their audits on projects. And right now, visibility is there for all of those Web3 gaming projects, for all other projects, for different tokens. And you can easily check how risky it is to put your money through for specific reasons, into different branches. I'm not talking only about the financial sector. I'm talking about the entertainment sector, maybe about the communication sector, maybe about the sector of getting into the art, NFT art. I mean, recently it came up on CoinGecko that a lot of those non-fungible tokens for at Decentraland and other places, they went down 95%, because that may be the case with the market reacting. And I am sure that you also saw those kind of announcements. So now it's time to buy. That's the first thing. But the second thing is it's time to reflect, on the future of those instruments, I would call them. And how do they add value to the system, right? Just like art does, just like the entertainment adds value to our lives, and just as the financial, assets that are backed with crypto add certain good positive feedback. there.
Well, really cool, man. I can see on the decks on the deck screen there's over 2,000 holders at the moment. That of course that doesn't include MEXC, who's on there, and any other centralized exchanges. But congratulations on the great project. I think it's absolutely awesome, man. Thanks for coming on. What is the easiest as a parting talk? And I see 11,000 people, I think, in the Telegram as well. Growing project. What would do? Last words you would leave people? How do they get involved? How do they find you guys?
How do they find us? Go to Ireland.com and see what the pirates are about. Check out the links that we have. See, it's just as easy as going on Polygon Scan and seeing the token being burned in real time and influencing the game's economy. So this is something that is game breaking. It's a game changer. This is no offline database. All of it is based on smart contracts. All of it is in the cloud. And this is the decision that we have taken. So we're not taking an easy road. It's going to be a bumpy one. And it's a project that is long term. So, make sure that you go to Ireland.com and check out all the details to find out more about it. And I highly encourage you to do so.
Before I let you go, because you just talked about the burn, and I maybe you mentioned that before, but I didn't pick it up. Talk to me about the burn and how that works.
Right. So you can mine the on-chain resources in our ecosystem. And for example, if you buy 15 RUM or if you have 20 Matic from Polygon, then you are able to put your pirate to work. And then there is this total amount of RUM, which is about 2 trillion. And when you select it, it's gonna deplete the pool. The RUM token is a deflationary token only. So it's only gonna be ever increasing in value relative to the amount of people that are in the game. And when you go to a Polygon Scan, you can see this RUM being burnt in real time. So you can see the interactions that are there from the users directly. So you can see how many users are participating in acquiring the resources to compete against each other in the strategy field of the game.
Nice.
So that's a great thing. And as I said, it's a new thing. It took us 2 years and 10 months to make it, but it's finally there. And the numbers are showing. So it's really fun. And even just with this one indicator, it's a game changer.
Awesome. Well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Great segment. We'll probably replay it again a little bit later. But make sure, guys, it says Pirates of Arland, Arland.com. That's 2 R's, ARRLAND.com. Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me, Bruce. Take care.
Cheers.
Your voice is powerful.
Signing off.
When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.